Welcome to PR Powerhouse, helping female entrepreneurs to get in the press and to gain PR. I'm Jo Swan, and I'll be sharing how to harness the power of the media to boost your credibility and business visibility, no matter what stage in business you're at. Because I'm on a mission to show you that PR is not just for the big boys. In this show, you'll learn how to reach out to journalists and own your place in the press, because you are ready to become a PR powerhouse. Hello, how are you? Okay, so this is actually take 2 of this podcast because I'd started recording a minute ago and then I got a shout come up the stairs, "Mom, I've done a poo." And I was like, oh my God, can you hear that? No, it'll be fine. No, you can actually hear it. So we had to delete that and we had to start again. This is the joys of working at home in the Easter holidays. But I am not here to talk to you about poo today. I am here to carry on a conversation from last week where I was talking to you about some of the fabulous takeaways that we got from the incredible Be Inspired event that I was involved in with the brilliant Dani Wallace. So that's where I'm going to pick up the conversation today, and I am going to share with you some of the takeaways that I got from one of the other fabulous VIP speakers, Remel London. So I am going to take you there and we are going to talk about how to make it in the mainstream, which was her topic for her talk. So, if you haven't come across Remel before, let me just tell you very quickly about her. She is a TV and radio presenter. She has worked with Sky. She's got a show on Capital. She's presented for the BBC. She has presented on the red carpet for the Mobos. So, she's got quite a profile and she has done a lot in her career already. But her talk was very much around how to make it in the mainstream, how to really elevate yourself kind of up that ladder and how to really find your own opportunities. And this was an angle that I really, really liked, that she really flagged and really brought to the forefront. And a lot of her talk was based very much around creating this powerful personal brand. And one of the things that I loved about watching her on stage and listening to her speak and actually involving her in my media panel was the fact that with her energy is just so powerful. Like, you know, when sometimes you just meet people and they literally ooze their brand, like they ooze who they are from every pore. And I felt that with her. I really felt that. You got to know her, and just by looking at it, just by being surrounded by her mannerisms, the way she speaks, you really got to feel like you kind of knew who she was. And I think that's super, super powerful. So she was talking about the power of creating a personal brand, and she was talking about the power of actually having something to sort of stand up for, the power of portraying that character and not being scared of being you, of not being scared of standing up for actually who you are, not trying to fit in, not trying to compare yourself to other people, the importance of actually standing behind what it is that you believe in and that what you bring to the party. And she was also talking about the power of being current and relevant and kind of keeping up with what contribution you can make that feels like it fits in society today. So all of these things are things that have absolutely got a kind of a place in the PR world too. So she was talking about it more from a profile perspective and sort of building her own profile. But they all make sense from a PR perspective too, because you've got to be really prepared to be you for PR to be successful, because journalists want that. Journalists want you to stand behind something, for you to identify as something, for you to have a mission and a message and a passion and a purpose. And they want to know who you are as a person, as an individual, not as a business owner. We've said before, they don't give a crap about your business. The business is just the sort of mechanism for you to deliver on your mission. What they want to know is who you are and what it is that you're all about. So she said many, many wise things that I kind of related back to PR, and I was like, yep, that makes loads of sense. One of the things that she talked about when she was talking about the power of being you was within her industry. She was talking about the fact that it's a really difficult industry to be in. So being in the media, being in the public eye, being in entertainment is quite a difficult industry. And she was saying that you last longer when you're authentic, when you're not trying to be someone else, because you're not going to get caught up. You're not gonna fall over. You're not gonna get caught out because there's nothing to catch you out, because you were just genuinely being yourself. And I guess in her industry that probably doesn't happen that often. So she was talking about actually the power of authenticity and the power of being happy and loving what you do. So that absolutely comes through her. It literally channels through her that she adores what she does. She's so passionate about it. She's so passionate for being a voice for people. And I think when you are so connected in that way, it's really attractive. It creates a fabulous energy and it magnetizes people towards you. And one of her quotes that I really loved was, "Be unapologetic about how passionate you are." And this really made me think, because actually, do you know what? So often we dumb ourselves down. We dumb down the amount that we give a shit about stuff. We dumb down how passionate and excitable we get about our businesses. And I think that sometimes comes from maybe not always being in the right circles. So sometimes that comes from surrounding yourself with people from your past, or surrounding yourself from people that just don't understand our world. So when you're in an entrepreneurial space, in that space, then we are absolutely supported and empowered and championed and cheerleaded by our peers. But not everyone has that. Not everyone has that network. And we find often when entrepreneurs come into the space from being in corporate and they don't have that network of other entrepreneurs, they do find that they kind of squash themselves because they don't want to be seen as being too excited about what they're doing, because that would be a bit show-offish, or that would be a bit kind of egotistical. They don't want to be shouting about what they're up to and, you know, getting really super giddy about their mission, because, well, who are they to be on that mission? Like, who are they to be making that much noise about something? So we find this happens all the time, particularly with startups, but also with people who've been in business for a little while, who have just not quite found their feet yet in terms of finding that full confidence to just actually go, do you know what? This absolutely lights me up. This absolutely gets me so excited. I could talk about all this day long. People, I think, probably do get a bit confused and a bit bewildered by how much I love PR, by how much I am literally on a mission to get more women's voices out there. All my friends that are not from this world are a bit like, here she goes again. Oh my God, she's obsessed with this. But do you know what? Being obsessed with something is a good thing when you are on an absolute mission, when you want to be seen as a person leading your field, leading your space. Get obsessed with it. Absolutely. It's going to be the way that you stand out and be the way that you become that leader. So I think that's a fabulous thing to step into. And when she said, be unapologetic for how passionate you are about this, like, that really, really hit home. And I really hope that actually makes you think about, do you know what? Are you being unapologetic? Are you letting it all out? Are you letting people know how much you love helping people in this area, how much you've got to give? Are you letting people know why you care so much about this, so that they can connect with you, they can get excited with you, and they can come on the journey with you? Or are you dumbing it down because you feel like you're too much? Are you dumbing it down because you feel like you have to? Are you dumbing it down because you're a bit scared or a bit nervous? Ultimately, that's not how you're going to make it. That's not how you're going to stand out. That's not how you're going to get the attention that you want and make the impact that you want. So something to just challenge yourself on there, and to think about whether or not you really are being brave enough to be unapologetic about how passionate you are about what you do. Okay, another one of the elements of her story that she shared was around how she always just takes opportunities. She always just jumps at opportunities. And this was something that I really loved as well. So she was talking about the power of putting yourself out there with energy and excitement in everything that you do. And she gave an example of how she was at some student event, and she kind of threw herself into this student event because she was a student and she was there to get free stuff. It was like an event run by Nike, and there was lots of like fun stuff happening. And so she got involved and she got visible at this event, you know, excited about what they were doing. She fully threw herself in, and she was noticed by the people that were running this event. And she actually got asked to be an ambassador for them. She got asked to model some of their stuff. She got put within a press campaign as part of the promo. And in the end, she got asked to be a presenter for the whole campaign while she was still a student, right? Which obviously worked towards her goal of becoming a presenter in the long run and being associated with a brand like Nike from day one. Like, pretty cool ripple effect of getting noticed. Pretty cool ripple effect of just being excited about opportunities that come to you, of creating opportunities for yourself. And this was very much a message as well that she was very clear to get across. You've got to make your own look. Like, do not hang around and wait for things to happen. Put yourself in situations where you can work towards your goals, where you can start to be visible in the right places, where you can start to engage with the right people. And I love that little sort of anecdote of how just by turning up to something with real energy resulted in an absolutely fabulous outcome. And I bet there's opportunities out there for you like this that perhaps you're not taking, that perhaps you can look back in hindsight and think, oh God, yeah, that was a wasted opportunity. I could have done more with that. We don't want wasted opportunities. We want to take everything that is out there for us. So I thought that was another nice little message. Really go for it with energy and excitement for every opportunity that comes your way. And following on from that, when I was thinking about that from a PR perspective, I was actually thinking about it as well from a perspective of media. And sometimes when we see small opportunities, we don't get that excited. Well, we do, I still do. But if we're giving a client an opportunity and it's maybe an opportunity with the local media, or it's an opportunity with a small online title, or an opportunity with a little niche blog, they don't get as excited as if it was a big national. And I get that. I get why, because there's lots of psychological reasons behind why people place more kudos on the more recognised titles. But think about, actually, each one of those is still an opportunity for you to be more recognised for your thing. It's an opportunity for people to engage with you. It's an opportunity for people to learn more about you, to know, like, and trust you, and for you to have content that you can share that also enables your audience to do that. So we don't want to devalue any opportunities that give us a chance to showcase who we are and what we stand for. So, like, thinking about what she was saying in perspective of media and taking every opportunity with excitement, I would really encourage you to even think about just those first steps that you can take in PR. Like, don't devalue those. Really think about the power that that could have as a ripple effect, and get excited about getting in your local media. Get excited about getting a nice, quick, easy win online that you can celebrate, because it all leads somewhere and you've got to start to get on the path. So yeah, I thought of just relating that back for a moment to actually, in a PR perspective, let's put ourselves out there with energy and excitement for every opportunity that comes our way. Okay, the next quote that I loved from Remel, I'm coming across as a little bit of a super fan here, and I think maybe I was like listening to every single thing that she was saying and like holding on to every word. So it might be a bit fangirlish this episode. But the next thing that she said that I loved was, don't take no for an answer. If a door closes, go round the back and jump in the window. She got a massive cheer at this point, because that was a real sense of like, God, yes, like, why do we lie down and let other people dictate the way that our plans are going, the way that our business is growing, the direction that our life is going in? Why do we let other people control that so much? Why don't we take more control and find the ways in, even when we've had a knockback or a no? And, you know, this happens a lot in PR. So there's a lot of no's that come before you get a yes. There's a lot of no's that come before you get published. There's a lot of being ignored before you get picked up. There's a lot of journalists kind of not even recognising the fact that you've communicated with them before they will necessarily come back to you or use you in their media. So not taking no for an answer is actually really super important. Like, it's one of our massive values at Chocolate PR. That's one of the things that I still into all the staff. Like, if you get a no from a journalist, that is not a no. That is just a no, not this second. We're going to find a way to turn that no into a yes. And we are very, very determined and very resilient around that. And if you're going to get into PR in terms of trying to do this yourself, you need to be resilient too. And you need to be creative. So, you know, this idea of if the door closes, go around and jump in the window, that's basically saying you've got to think outside the box. You've got to be creative. You've got to think about another way in. And that's absolutely what you've got to do from a press perspective. If they don't like your angle, If they don't like what you've offered them the first time round, give it a different direction, give it a different spin, come at it from a totally different angle or perspective, come at it from a different hook, come at it at a different time. Think about other elements of content that you can bring in to make it more powerful. Do not take no for an answer. And that is absolutely a really key part of PR success, actually, because like I said, it's not always a smooth ride. It's not always a smooth journey. We've got to understand that we're going to have to play the game. It is a game to play. And you're going to have to adapt, and you're going to have to be resourceful, and you're going to have to be resilient. So I think that might be why I love that quote so much, because it really resonated with actually how we do business and how I would really encourage you to think about being resourceful if you were going to get into trying to get yourself in the media. It's not necessarily a quick win. And sometimes you have to be a bit reactive, you have to be a bit reflective, you have to really find that way in. It's fun. It's fun when you get playful with it. So yeah, don't take no for an answer. If a door closes, go on the back and jump in the window. Okay, and the final point that I want to talk to you about that came out of Remel's talk at the event was around, this is when she was talking on our media panel, and she was talking around what she actually communicates through her PR. And I thought this was really interesting because she was being very strategic about how she uses PR. And this is something, again, that we can all learn. So she was saying how she uses PR, she uses it at certain points in her career, in her journey, as part of her personal brand profile raising. So she uses PR to promote the mission of the moment, the soapbox topic that she is kind of connected to at that time. So it was all about, she was talking all about the fact that you've got to think about what your message is right now and appreciate that that might not always be the same message. So it might not be that you just regurgitate your story, the exact same elements of your story on repeat again and again and again, because actually if you think about that, what is the value of that? What are you really giving? What are you really telling people? You're just telling people the same thing over and over again. But actually if you grow and you layer your message and you have multiple facets to your message, and at different points in time you have different focuses, then you are telling people so much more about who you are and what you stand for, because you've got much more depth. So she was talking about this idea of, don't just bang the same old drum, and that if someone asked her to do a podcast, she would ask them what the subject was going to be about. And if it was just about her career, if it was just about the fact that how she got into presenting, at this point in time, she would say no, she wouldn't want to do that because she's done that a million times and she doesn't see any value. So she says how she looks at it is it's actually got to be around something that she's passionate about at the moment, something that is connected to her life right now, something that she cares about at this particular time. So it's using PR in a way that is connected to the topic of the moment, the thing that you want to promote right now, the message that you actually want to say right now. And this may change over time. So I think that was a really interesting point as well, to just get that kind of context and think, you know what, just because I've got my story nailed, that's not all there is to me and my PR journey. Actually, what could I talk about now that is very specific? So she talked about how in lockdown she created this journal, and it was all around gratitude and mindfulness because that's what had got her through it. So for that particular time in her life, that was what she wanted to speak about, because there was a real point. She was trying to promote her journals, and she wanted to be recognized as someone in that space that had a voice on that subject. So think about what it is you want to represent, and think about the end goal of actually ultimately, what you want to sell. I know we don't talk about the sales part of it too much because we don't want to be too promotional in our PR, but we do have to have an end goal, and it has to make sense. It has to be relevant to actually where our business is going. So I thought that was an interesting little thing to throw into the mix as well. So as you can hear, I was absolutely fascinated by this talk, and there was lots and lots of things that I took from it that I really resonated with, parallels in terms of how PR works, how PR makes sense, how we need to think about our personal brands and our profiles. So I wanted to share just some of those little snippets with you, just to get you thinking about actually, are you ready to kind of make it, in terms of, are you ready to be seen, to stand up for what it is that you believe in? Are you ready to take these opportunities to be energetic and to be passionate and to 100% stand up for what you love, stand up for what you believe in, and be unapologetic about how passionate you are about that thing? So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to get you to think about, actually, is there room for improvement there? Is there anything else you could do? Could you turn that dial up just a little bit to make sure that actually people are really understanding that you absolutely love this stuff, that you live, breathe, like you just absolutely exude passion around this subject area? Could you turn that dial up a little bit? Probably. I think we all could. So I will leave you to think about exactly what you could do to just do that this week, how you could turn that dial up just a little bit, just a little bit at a time, so that you can really engage people with your message. So that is all for this week. It is now time to go into a lovely long weekend here. I hope you are having an enjoyable weekend too. If this is, well, you'll get this after the weekend, but I hope you've had a nice break, and I will be back next week to follow on our conversations. All right, guys, take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to PR Powerhouse with me, Jo Swan. If you want to feel empowered and supported and excited about getting in the press, come and join us in our free community over on Facebook at PR You Can Do It. I would absolutely love to see you there, so I can help you take those next steps to getting in the media.